Yeah. So the two cesiums together gives us 5,182 becquerels per
50
kilogram.
times over their so-called legal limit. 50 times.
Yeah.
50 times. Now remember, they had town hall meetings. They were keeping everybody abreast of this, just like the Obama administration, Gina McCarthy, Crash Radned, just like the Trump administration's keeping us. I mean,
they said everything's fine. It really upsets me because they said
they were having town hall meetings and having people there where people could show up, right?
Yeah.
Mothers could show up.
Yeah.
And it was government employees presenting these town hall meetings?
Yeah, and that everything's fine, nothing to worry about. You know, it's just like it was back before Fukushima happened. You know, the readings are not that high. You know, but even the readings that were not that high, I have proof that there could be a lot of becquerels of cesium and other. If cesium's there, plutonium's there.
Absolutely.
And all the hundreds and thousands of other isotopes.
Now, this is real important. This is incredibly important. Because of the USS Reagan trial, because of then what this proves that, oh, we didn't know, which that's always been what the government standard. This proves they lied, which we know in the United States law and world law, that is called malice. That is called, so we have murder charges in the United States court system, most court systems in the world. Okay, we have manslaughter, man, wife get mad, freaking, it's an acute situation, blah, blah, blah. Didn't know what he was doing, blah, blah, blah. Then what we have, premeditated murder. Okay, we have, the statute is what, malice? So her data proves unequivocally, freaking gilded and gold, casting and creating, that this, I'm one of them. I was almost murdered, they say to me. This was done with malice. Now this is important because the USS Reagan trial is here in San Diego. And this is an incredible indictment on San Diego Minute, Channel 7, Channel 10, Channel 8, because I talked to them all yesterday at Del Mar. And they all know me. This is an indictment on San Diego State, Oregon State, Cal Berkeley, every meteorologist in this country, all media. I don't care if it's classified or not classified. This proves that you all have blood in your hands. This was done with malice because they are lying to you. They are lying to us, and this proves. So this isn't, well, we really didn't know. So go ahead.
Yeah. And you know what I just found out also was that this was the second cleaning up of it. And I'm going to show that to you right now.
And you just found that out.
Just last night, actually, because I was trying to gather the one I know from the readings from the day that I went and collected data. They posted it on their website. You know, the map and the readings of what they got, and that's here.
Now, this is being shot in San Diego, California, on the 19th of July, 2018. This isn't. We're not shooting. 7 years. Well, go ahead.
Okay, so I will show you the readings from the day that I went. You know, and just remember it was a 0.43 microsievert. So if you look at this little map. You know, and they have it listed down here. They have the, this is June of 2012. And over here on the right side, this is November of 2011. So if you look here, I'm just realizing something right now. Okay, anyway, let me just say what I was going to say, and then I'm just realizing something. This is a point on number 9. Number 9 is where I took my dirt sample from. That's the 0.43 reading. Okay, so that was
their readings.
Yeah, this is their reading. So when they checked it back in November 2011, they go by a different year system. So this is 24 means 2012, 23 means 2011. So they got in that same spot a lower reading before. They got 0.30 in that spot. So after cleaning it up, or I guess they didn't clean it up there because it wasn't 0.59 yet. Later on, they tested it again. This just shows that it's getting more and more contaminated. It's accumulating more and more in these spots where it accumulates. And so, but this is what's going to freak me, what's going to freak you out, what just freaked me out that I just realized. If I go to this other data that I just discovered last night, and it's in English here, this is at the same school, but up on the rooftop here, number 3, here, they found a 0.9. A up on the rooftop, which freaks me out to know that there was a 0.9 because we got for a 0.43, we got 5,000 becquerels. What is it, I wonder, for the 0.9? What was that on the rooftop?
Let's just do the math real quickly. So the math real quickly, so you go from that, I mean, we can do math, right? So that would put you at, let's see, let me quickly do it. So we're talking at well over 11,000, 12,000, right?
Oh yeah, because I got, you know what? It's really hard to say because on the Navy base they had I got 13,000 off of a point.
You did get 13,000
or 0.3. Yeah, it was 13,000 becquerels.
Now remember, this is not some Geiger counter reading. She had them tested in a lab, and she did everything probably, and it's well documented. It's historical.
So the Geiger counter didn't really say it was that high, but when we got it tested, there was a lot of cesium.
And I've said this for years, and this is important to the Geiger counter counters out there. Everybody says, "Why do you use Geiger?" I've got Geiger counters. Look, there's a big difference. Geiger counter readings can be all over the map. It's not good science, I'm telling you. I mean, yeah, we can get them, we can pop them up. This is the good science. Tested inside a lab with a soil sample. That's the hardcore science. I mean, I can take a sample here, there. It's so, debatable on the Geiger counter readings because there's so many variables. But this is not. This is concrete, hardcore scientific data. And so there it is.
And I'm wondering if this is like, if they fibbed a little bit because...
Oh, no, they wouldn't do that.
Because these readings here on this document shows something totally different. Look at this document the one that I had access to when I did this. They put this out on the website. This is the one I've been seeing.
So they probably you think they've changed the website since?
Yeah, well, they just added this document or something. I don't know when they added the one that shows
the 0.9. So it's recently added and it's different.
I don't see any 0.9 here. Do you see any 0.9?
Nope. So
that's what just freaked me out right now. They didn't put this out. When I was looking at it, when I was testing, when I was following them around, they didn't show that they did this in November.
So here's what I call that, which we know that they do that. It's called boil the frogs nicely. It's just like now, we'll tell them the truth 7 years hence. Don't tell them when it's happening. That's what they did. It's in perfect correlation with the cover-up of this industry and how they operate. This is no new model that's been built. They did it in Hiroshima. They did it in Nagasaki. They did it in Chernobyl. They did it in the Nevada test site. They did it at Santa Susana right here. I won't stop there. They keep going.
Santa Nofre, we didn't even know that it was a meltdown.
Yeah, well, I knew and I reported it. Oh, they don't believe me, So, but again, this is so important because of the USS Reagan trial pending. Now, I was in the bone marrow transplant with one of those young men when I got cancer in 2012. He died. So that is right here in San Diego, docked out of San Diego. They sent it, and this is real important. Now, hear me. Because, I can say it now. Before, I danced around it because it was classified, but Holden let the cat out of the bag, which I told you from day one. So inside the Situation Room, John Holden, the Science and Technology team lead, now he's admitting everything that I've said. Inside the Situation Room, I will quote John Edwards, who's done a media interview now, I can tell now what I've had, which I told you anyway. John Holden took the keys. In fact, Gregory Jacka was head of the NRC then. He was forced to stand down. Everybody was forced to stand down in that room. Holden, who is a eugenist from Cal Berkeley, he wrote his PhD on eugenics, pro-nuclear you. He says in his own words in this recently publicly grassroots interview, he says, we knew by 4:43 p.m. on March 11th inside the Situation in the White House, these were meltdowns. That's big stuff. Now hear me out. We got called back. I was there for 9 hours. I went home. Within an hour I was called back on the phone, back at it. We immediately gathered 32 team we put together of so-called expert scientists to handle this. MIT, Oregon State, San Diego State, Cal Berkeley, the usually nuclear teams. And what they did, they went into pure cover-up mode. So on the 17th of March, Obama gives the press conference. He stands on the White House lawn. He says, I want you to know, we're going to get... They were all flown out to South America as this plume went over us. And they made the decision, of course, to go in total cover-up mode. They've classified me. I have emails proving now from the Army Corps of Engineers, from San Onofre, that are showing up in the internet now 5 years later. Does this say unclassified, Kevin Blanche? What? And so, this is important. Because of the USS Reagan trials here in San Diego, they were docked here. They sent it in and radiated. It proves they knew. They did it anyway. Now the Admiral said, point blank, I want the entire United States military personnel evacuated. Talk a little bit about that, Rachel, because you were there on the base. Talk about, was that contemporary knowledge that they were going to evacuate everyone?
Yeah, everybody thought that they were going to, the families from the George Washington were going to get on the George Washington and be taken out. That's the carrier that was over there. They had to actually leave the dock and decontaminate because they...
Now she was there, remember, she's there. This is not secondhand account. Mm-hmm. So, 32 ships were sent in. This was not a Operation Friendship. This was an evacuation order. Now the Reagan, of course, was already there, so he was sent right in. They raided the bejesus out of those guys, including Danielle Valentine, who was on that ship years later. Her dad contacted me and dropped dead. How many kids have they killed? You know, and so the data cover-up, so they sent them in. Now this is real important. This case is set to go forward right here in San Diego. The appeal of the appeals have been exhausted. The California Appellate Court, this is important that we're doing this time. We'll post this video. It'll be a year ago, I believe, in 2 days, that the Appellate Court, they took forever, ruled, no, you can't stop it, it's going forward. Now this is real important. Edwards, I hope you're listening. I hope Bonner and I hope they're watching. Because this is real important. So TEPCO inside, because I've been there the whole time, says this. You're saying that we lied and you didn't know. This proves that the United States government did know. It's a fact, you know, put me on the stand. Put Rachel on the stand. So, but, this suit's against General Electric, Mitsubishi, Hitachi. That's where the liability's at. This is an incredible indictment on the United States government. This is an incredible indictment on the California media, on academia, on marine biologists, on everybody that plays along and goes along with this team. You all have blood on your hands. But this proves the malice. And this case is ready to go forward right here. 43 of those kids, just of the plaintiffs, I mean, of this group that we know of, are already dead. Young. So this is so important right here in San Diego. And your father, Navy guy, that's how you got there, right?
Mm-hmm. That's how I originally went to Japan.
So talk a little bit about the culture that was going on during the evacuation and the fear and...
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of confusion because they first said they were going to evacuate everybody on the base.
They did say that.
And they did say that they were going to evacuate.
Would you testify to say that they...
Yeah, because my dad...
Now, this is important.
I was very connected because my mom and dad moved back to Japan to live over there. And I went to a church off base that was serving the military. And a lot of our church was like empty. After they said that they were going to evacuate, they kept changing. Because my parents were telling me...
Now who told you they were going to evacuate? The government?
Oh, everybody. Yeah, well
the officials. There were actually authority that told you
that they
prepare for evacuation.
Yeah, to the families. They were packing. And then all of a sudden... And they even gave out iodine pills.
They did.
But the Japanese didn't give any. I wasn't connected where I could receive iodine pills. My parents got.
Your parents were.
Because my dad, he got a job as a veteran working at the commissary on base.
I see.
And so that's how they were still connected there. But they got iodine pills. And they were going to evacuate the families. The banks were shut down. The schools were shut down. It was like a ghost town on Yokosuka base. My church had like 5 people left in there. Everybody was gone. Everybody was gone. And but they first said they were going to make it a mandatory evacuation. They changed it. They changed it to it's a voluntary evacuation.
See, and that perfectly correlates what I know happened in the situation. Because the Admiral, and he stuck to this a long time. And by the way, sorry about that. By the way, the Admiral stuck to that for a long time. Now this is real important because Rachel and myself have both talked to him. The ex-Prime Minister of Japan.
Koizumi-san.
He looks like Richard Gere on the movie star. He's fantastic. We've both had personal conversations with him here in San Diego. Now you talked to him in Del Mar at the press conference. I talked to him, I believe it was in Carlsbad or Del Mar at the thing. And we both talked to him. And we've had these conversations. I asked him point blank. You know, and as soon as he saw me, he got all teary-eyed and emotional. He knew me. We'd never met before. And he was very emotional to me and very friendly to me. And I asked him, well, you're so anti-nuclear. Now this is important. You're only going to get this from me. Gregory Jacko, head of the NRC. There's an urban planner who lives in San Diego who's a PhD from Harvard, urban planner, that hooked up via my YouTube site, and the Senate office shut down. And the XPM. They got together. They went on a little bit of a roadshow for a while talking about this, and the government squashed their asses down. So I asked him point blank, you're so anti-nuclear now, and this is so heartbreaking to you now, you're the one who built this up. He says, the United States government made me do it. Yalta by the sea. Go ahead.
Yeah, so, but I just kind of want to go back to...
the data.
Yeah, go back. When you mentioned that it's malice and the blood's on their hands, I'm thinking about just last week, my daughter that had the surgery last year.
Now tell them about that.
She was 11 when she had a cyst in her. They found a cyst in her fallopian tube. That
Here
in San Diego.
Now remember, she was in
kindergarten.
Kindergarten.
She's the one with
Japan.
With the pillow that had.
She has a Japanese father.
And
she lived her whole life. Was she born in Japan?
Born in Japan.
Okay, go
born
ahead.
in Japan. You know, and they found a cyst and they operated on her. And the cyst that they found was not on the ovary, so it's more common on the ovary, but at 11 years old, it's very uncommon to find one in the fallopian tube, and it had twisted, stopping blood supply to getting to her ovary. So they operated, and thank God all that kind of stuff is good. But last week I took her into the doctor because we found a lump on her breast, and they did a breast exam on her, you know, 12 years old, having to get a breast exam, and they found another lump on the other one. So both of her breasts have lumps. They said it could be normal, we're waiting to see, but I do have an appointment. They referred me over to the...
Now that's one of the 3 daughters.
Pediatric surgeon, yeah.
And you have 3 daughters, right?
Yeah, so this was last week. Yesterday, my older daughter is in the shower, and she's calling me, Mommy, Mommy, and she says, I felt something on she was washing herself, you know, and I felt it, and sure enough, she had a lump. And so I made an appointment right away, and we went there yesterday, and they said, sure enough, it's a lump. And they said, you know, we wouldn't be so concerned about it, but if you didn't have that background. The pediatrician told me, she's like, you know, with you being in Japan and everything, we're going to get it checked. And so they referred us. So I had to make 2 appointments with a pediatric surgeon.
This is also important because I was in the bone marrow transplant center. You know, I got cancer in fall of 2011, hardcore. This is real important. So people say doctors don't talk. Well, they can't. They're called HIPAA laws. There are plenty of doctors that are talking, including mine. My doctor, I will quote him. He says, inside the LDS East State Bone Marrow Transplant, probably the greatest oncologist in the world, I got lucky enough to get him, from Denmark. He says, Kevin, post-Fukushima, we know they're stronger, we know they're more aggressive, and we're nowhere else. So I have a friend here who's a photographer. He's a famous surf photographer here. He come to me a couple years ago when I was down here on one of my gigs, documenting tide pools. He calls me out of the blue. He says, I didn't know anything about Fukushima. I'm a surfer, been a surfer in Malibu. I went to see my doctor because I had a lump on my testicle. He says, you got to test for cancer. They cut him off. The doctor looked at him and says, you still surfing every day? Yeah. Do you know about Fukushima? He says, no, what's that? And he says, go Google it. His doctor told him that. A year later, he calls me, his niece, at Malibu, famous surfer girl. He says, Kevin, she has ML. Called me just a couple months later, she's passed away. The head of the Fukushima 50's mother, when I used to get him, Mom, their people, sent me the email that he was dying of esophagus cancer 2 weeks before he died. So this thesis that they didn't know, this thesis that they, again, this is the greatest crime in human history, is the cover-up of the greatest event in human history, not, oh, we didn't know. This is done with malice, just like when they nuked my father in Nevada test site. And I'm living proof, like your daughters, like you say, genetically. My father, human lab rat in the Nevada test site from Pendleton. Drafted Marine. Healthiest dude you ever seen. Never had a cavity in his life. Never mowed down and dies in the prime of his life of AML leukemia. then I get it? Tell me it doesn't mutate and move into the gene pool and drag. So go ahead.
Yeah, actually, we're gonna the next video that we show is gonna be very connected to the Reagan, because I'll be showing you the dirt samples that I took from right in front of the Officers Club on Yokosuka base.
Wow.
So, and that was just like.
And the samples you sent to the lab and the results, and I've seen all the. You've seen the results. I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not what the government said.
Yeah, and there's also an article from one of the town hall meetings that I watched. They took it down from YouTube, but
so this is important. One thing too. Back to your results. Remember, this one result you're showing is 50 times. 50. This is a year and a half later, right?
A year and a half, or a year and 3 months.
A year and 3 months, so 15 months later. 150 miles south. Again, the wind was blowing out when it was. So what's in the Pacific Ocean?
Yeah, the wind was blowing the opposite way, away from us, and that's why they could get away with telling us that don't worry about
Anderson Cooper and Sanjay Gupta were there. CNN, they're there. Sanjay Gupta is a practicing neurosurgeon. This is not Ann Coulter, that dude, it's okay. No, this is a practicing, took the Hippocratic Oath, going to be the guy nominated by the Obama administration to be the Surgeon General. They're there. They're saying, oh, well, should we get out? We'll get out as the wind's blowing out. And they got this character, Jim Walsh, again from MIT, the false and flimsy liar that he is. What an indictment on him. So they come home. 25th March 2011, Sanjay Gupta, MD, Saturday morning. Important show he's got. He goes into total cover-up mode. He has a doctor from Japan on the show. This is the day Liz Taylor died. And he says, oh, she says, my 11-year-old best friend died after Hiroshima of leukemia, blah, 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 this, that, and the other thing. Then he goes, oh, I found out that radiation's not bad. It's good for you, because I use it to cure cancer, blah. And he went into this incredible propaganda. I went crazy on my YouTube site. You remember. I went psycho about it. They pulled the transcript. You can't get it nowhere. And I kept doing it over and over and over and over. Find it. I don't have it. I hand it. I whistled for it, like CNN sent it to me. I didn't care. I put it on freaking. I read it. I throw it all over the internet. Of course, they hands put it back up. Again, mouth. I know for a fact, because I've been told, I have plenty of whistleblowers. I have lots of stuff that I know for a fact that's been classified. You know, I know for a fact when Anderson Cooper and Sanjay Gupta got home, they were not only briefed in Japan, they were briefed in New York City by the powers there be. And not only were they told to stand down, and this proves again malice. Stand down. No, a passing nurse is going to go into attack mode. That's enough crime to put him in prison for the rest of his life. You can go. I mean, I got cancer after that. I could have took precautions. I could have done things.
Yep.
So it's malice.
Yeah, if you're already at risk, if your body's not, if your like immune system's low or something, you know, you could be.
You know what the number one precaution could have been done? Number one, now that I've been through the whole cancer fight and everything, is I say live like cancer before you have cancer. The number one thing we could have done is bolster our immune system. We could have started drinking more juice, which I know that now. That's, you know, after I've had open heart surgery, I've had my gallbladder ripped out. I was in a bone marrow transplant center. I was going in and out of a coma for how long? Dying walking the coast with a central line hanging out of me. You know, what a war I've gone through. Now, I look back. If we would have been told, just like your daughters, we would have been told the truth.
It would have been different. It would have been different. Right when it happened, we evacuated to Okinawa, and we left for 3 weeks. And then my husband called and said, "It's fine. Everything's fine. Come back. Don't worry about it."
Because they were lying.
And then they treated me like I was crazy. They had a term called monster parent for mothers like me that didn't want them to drink the milk. They thought we were crazy because the whole society thought that everything's fine, and these people that are just wacko, you're overthinking it, just smile and you'll be healthy.
A mother who intuitively is trying to protect her children is turned a monster. A guy falling for his life full of leukemia is out talking today is called crazy. Who's crazy?
Exactly.
Who's crazy? Fukushima now is the greatest mental. It's more than that. I mean, this going along with the winning team. Who are the criminals? Not you and I. We're doing what human beings should do. You did what any real good mother should do. You know, Kathy did the same thing. I went with her children. She came back to Sandy. That's how we beat San Onofre. She had a vote. You know, so, I mean, It's beyond outrageous. And it's because, again, the government lied. The international community lied. The media lied. And it's not just to cover up, oh, we didn't know. I can prove it at USS Reagan. I'm the only activist right there. I told Lori, look, they're flying the flag upside down, number one, right across there, as they're making this. There's Channel 7 right above our heads. Channel 7, NBC, San Diego affiliates headquartered right above the USS Reagan trial at the Edward Schwartz building on one of the biggest decisions ever made in the history of California. I says, why is there no media here? You know, Bill Beeb's there, you know, the attorneys, everybody's there. And I says, look, they're too far away. Oh, they don't know? Oh, they know? Go ask every one of them because I talked to them, I emailed them. They all know me. Oh, they know. So you tell me why they weren't there. You don't think this is a cover-up? You don't think this is a big-time crime? You don't think this is mass murder? You're a fool. You're a fool. And go ahead and go along with the winning team. You know, I mean, at this point, especially after seeing your data, because I always had an intuitive sense that this was true over there.
Well, I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone. That's what I felt like. Having the data, saying, look, showing it right there in their faces,
well, not only
and then
that,
telling me I'm crazy.
Not only telling you crazy,
qualified.
same with me. They went after us. They hired PR firms online to attack a guy in critical condition.
I was being watched.
Oh, I can prove it they went after me. Now remember, I'm in critical condition with cancer. Those are felonies to go after me. I mean, I was in critical condition. Now think about it. My own government will go after and attack me. What? Because I'm just trying to fight for my own life? I'm trying to live? I'm trying to fight and just defend the truth? And they go after us like this? Talk about a story. Talk about malice. Oh my God. I mean, a mother trying to protect her children? Huh. I mean, it's beyond heartbreaking. You know, who's to blame, you know?
It's frustrating. You know, I was, my own husband said he would put me in a mental institution.
Well, he doesn't say that now, right?
No. He was heavily brainwashed, just like the rest of them over there. He
and I don't even think it was brainwashed. I think the government just lied to them so they, you know.
It was a propaganda. It was all the propaganda that was going on. Billboards with boy bands eating Fukushima.
Tell us about Lady Gaga over there.
Yeah, they recalled the green tea, the really expensive green tea, which was further away from Fukushima than I was. They recalled it. They had to get rid of all of this because it's leafy. It's leafy. It absorbs. And then not even within that same month, Lady Gaga was out there doing concerts and
Lady Gaga.
Yeah, NHK shows her on TV walking out on stage drinking the green tea, and they're doing all this stuff. You know, they're sending green tea companies are going out to New York, and they're doing these green tea shows and everything, and everybody's getting all poo-poo la-la about green tea. You know, but they had just recalled the green tea.
And I'm sure Lady Gaga doesn't even know what she was doing. And if she does, cancer karma, I mean, hope you don't get cancer, girl. You know, she's a Brooklyn girl. I know a lot of people that know her. I don't think she knew. It's just like this Rita Fukushima, the celebrity here. I went to her and I says, she was using that as her Hollywood name. I'm like, whoa. You know, so this, but if you did know, you know, it's just like the propaganda machine on the Sochi tea, the torch relay, the Olympic Games, all this propaganda. You go around the rest of the world, we don't get it's all planned. It's all boycotted to this day. And they propaganda us, not here, of course, us. Feed these dumb freaking sheep, whatever. What is the United States anymore? We're human lab rat. I'll tell you what the United States has evolved into. We're not even a, oil extracting energy company with an army anymore. You know, what we've turned into is the nuclear energy crime syndicates, human lab rats. That's what the United States is. We're human lab rats to extract, to experiment, and we have to give them our money to do it. We bail them out, we throw them money, we worship with their feet that they walk on. I mean, San Onofre proves that. I mean, look at the attacks on me trying to expose the truth of San Onofre. I mean, the SWAT team had a gun in my face at the thing. They called the SWAT team on me with a gun in my face when I have permits to protest. Well, why should I even need a permit? So your data, I'm telling you, and I would hope Edwards and Bonner and these guys are watching this, because I'll tell you what we're going to do. You don't play with us and you don't want to go down there, we will stand right in front of, because I already have a permit, because I've already been working through the system long enough. I have a permit to protest 7 days a week, 12 hours a day there.